We saw a federal MP, a Liberal MP, Craig Kelly, booted from Facebook for a week over his COVID-19 posts. A sitting member banned for a week. Can you imagine if they banned him a week out from the election? Can you imagine that? It's disgusting. And on top of that, many of you probably already know, Facebook also deleted Pete Evans' Instagram account. Disgusting. And look who wrote it. The AAP wrote that article. I bet they were very, very happy over there. And as you know, the AAP has targeted both me and Ricardo on this very show. And it's been very frustrating because it's the first instance I've seen, and I can prove, of the AAP targeting this show. And it's been just... Because what do they do with these fact checks, guys? They derank our content. They basically tell Facebook, watch out, these people are inciting violence and you need to keep them on the wraps. It's disgusting. It really is. This is the sort of stuff that Facebook bans. This is a Happy Valentine's Day card, which says, you stole my heart like a 2020 election. And Facebook put a little tab at the bottom saying, the claim of election fraud is disputed and the tweet cannot be replied to, retweeted, or liked due to a risk of violence. Can you believe that? It's literally a Valentine's Day card. This is the sort of thing they're censoring. How do you combat this? Well, you move to other platforms. Parlour's a good one. Parlour's back online after being offline for a month since, I think it was it Twitter? No, it was Amazon. One of Amazon's server hosting services basically said, no, Parlour's not taking enough steps to censor their content or moderate it. They don't have the capability to, and they haven't demonstrated the means to, even though they do moderate their content. In fact, way more things were organized on Facebook to start the 6th of January Capitol riots than were done on Parlour. Significantly more. Where's that? And also, there's a double standard with Black Lives Matter also doing that. So what does that mean? Get onto Parlour. We are back. Go follow Ricardo and his tag's there. Go follow me and I'm over there. It's awesome that there's so many of you that have already moved there, 2,200 for Ricardo and a little over 500 for me, which is really good. I will be posting more there now that it's back. I will be also going to other platforms. This podcast will have 2 hours. There'll be a second hour, which will be going onto Rumble because I can actually tell you things that are happening on Rumble without the censorship. So if you like what I do here, go to Rumble after that and you'll see the second hour. Now, why am I telling you this? Because I will be on Parlour, Ricardo will be on Parlour, I'll be on Rumble, I'll also be on a number of other platforms, Gab, Minds, and probably another one. I'm trying to keep it just to 4 or 5, but because I don't want to go to all 18 platforms. But this is the reality. I'm thinking about a Telegram, but I'm not familiar with the platform. But we'll see how we go. But get off these platforms. You need to get off now. Otherwise, you will not find us on any other. It'll be very difficult to find us, basically, unless you're looking. So go do that right now. Follow Ricardo. Follow me. You don't want to be left with your pants down, basically. Drew Pavlo put a solution forward with the news that the Facebook deregulation, the Facebook regulation was coming. So Facebook took all these pages off, and in the wake of this, Drew basically said, I just talked with Bob Cutter, and he's going to call for a nationally owned social media network set up under public charter with a public oversight board. Before you dismiss it as crazy, it's blatantly obvious that these are public utilities that are disastrous in private hands. Look, I don't entirely agree with this, but I think there is a possibility that we could find a way through this. I said in response to that, I actually agree on the condition that almost all free speech. What did I say? Hang on a second. Let me rephrase this. I actually agree on this on one condition, that it is almost a free speech absolutist, except inciting violence and doxing, of course. It could work. It could work. I don't know, but it could work. But I think in conjunction with alternative media platforms, we could make this work. I don't want to jump off the mainstream media channels yet because it's very difficult, and I might be showing my cards here, it's very difficult to spread to alternative media without slowly integrating and migrating and leading an exodus away from the mainstream channels. You have to do this as an integrated thing. You can't go cold turkey. I know many people like Minneapolis, I see him anymore because this is exactly what's happened. But anyway, what would I know? This is kind of disgusting. It's this ad which was in one country. I can't remember which country it was. And it was basically which said, the most loving gift you can give your first child is to not have another. That's a little bit sinister. I think you'd agree. I'm not a fan of this kind of advertising. And if I was, I'd probably be a killer. I don't like this. This was put out by oneplanetonechild.org. This is disgusting. I mean, we should be encouraging people to have kids, to be prosperous, and to have joy. What is this, communist China, one-child policy? It's ridiculous. In the more entertaining news, we had a situation where there was a quarantine exercise, and basically the people were sort of ushered in and out of the building with plastic bags over their heads, which is hilarious because, we joke about how many masks you have, and then the best used mask is actually putting a plastic bag over your head, and that's 100% effective. And then we actually see it. Like, satire is real life. The Babylon Bee is here. It's absolutely entertaining. In other news, in America, so much for defund the police. Minneapolis to spend $6.4 million recruiting more officers following the sharp rise in crime, and up to 200 cops quitting after the George Floyd riots and the $8 million budget cuts. I mean, this is what you get, guys. Often the divide that I say, the divide between the mainstream and what's happening here, is that progressives don't see the long-term impacts of their actions. They need to listen to older people more so they can actually see the long-term impacts of it. I used to be progressive, and that's how I got out of it. I saw that their policies, they felt good at the time, but they don't necessarily do good. And this is sort of what we're starting to see. 2020 saw an unprecedented spike in murders in major US cities. And these are places where the police departments are defunded. In fact, there are over 200 I think counties where the police were defunded, or some crazy number like that, or 2,000 police departments, something along those lines. And you look at places like Seattle, up 74.1% murder spike. New Orleans, 61.7%. Atlanta, 57.9%. And Chicago, of all places, which is it's terrible as it is, it's up 55.5%. This is ridiculous. It's disgusting. On the topic of guns, and it's a shame Ricardo's not here, I really wanted to get his opinion on this. There is an incremental effect that we are seeing in America. They will take your guns. This is something I said when Joe Biden got in. They will take your guns. And right now, this week, mark my words, they are discussing, as I said, they're discussing ways to get rid of and put more restrictions on Americans and their guns. This is the timeline to date. 1934, it's just a tax on machine guns and silencers. 1968, it's just a ban on buying guns through the mail. 1986, it's just a ban on new machine guns. 1989, it's just a ban on importing non-sporting rifles. 1993, it's just a background check when you buy a gun from a dealer. 1994, it's just a common sense temporary ban on extra scary guns. 2014 and 2017, it's just a ban on importing Russian guns. 2021, it's just a common sense permanent ban on the most common guns in America. That's where we're at. And I don't know in detail as much about Australia's gun history, but one thing for sure is we saw that incrementalism, and it's disgusting. We should have access to this. In fact, guns rights are women's rights, and I'm a bigger feminist than most feminists, most third-wave feminists. They don't want this. I do, because I want people like my sisters to be able to walk safely at night in certain suburbs. Here's another hilarious story, and this isn't satire. This isn't the Babylon Bee. Oregon promotes a program focused on dismantling racism in mathematics. Says finding the right answer a sign of white supremacy. My brother studies actuarial studies, and this is interesting. This is hilarious. Where it's literally 2 + 2 = 5. The reference from 1984. It's disgusting. You're gonna collapse bridges if you keep pushing this crap. It's ridiculous.